Firewatch is an adventure game developed by Campo Santo for the PC and PS4. In this game, you play as Henry, a fire lookout volunteer for the Shoshone National Forest during the summer of 1989. And this game follows a similar style much like Gone Home or the Telltale games, where the gameplay takes a back seat and the main focus is to tell an exciting narrative. The game starts with a sort of choose-your-own-adventure type system. It gives you an opportunity to create a more unique backstory for Henry, and it gives a good context as to why you're actually where you are for the game. However, a lot of these choices are severely limited, and they honestly don't provide anything different for the experience. The majority of the storytelling is actually going to be done through a radio conversation that you hold between you and a character named Delilah.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
Now, this banter between the two characters is probably the best thing that this game has got going for itself. It has fantastic writing, the voice actors did a wonderful job, and sometimes it's genuinely funny.
Try not to get hit by lightning.
Yeah, I'm not sure I got a lot of choice in getting struck down.
Especially not with your electric personality.
Ugh.
I see my joke did not spark your sense of humor.
Ugh.
What, you're not enjoying our current conversation?
Oh my God, lady.
The arc of our budding friendship.
How exactly are you in charge?
You can have great characters, but if you don't have a good story to drive forward, it's kind of pointless. This game has a problem that I have with a lot of games nowadays, which is the illusion of choice, and I'll get into that a little bit later. A huge positive for me is the art and sound design. Firewatch is intensely beautiful with wonderful color contrasts and some of the best lighting you'll ever see in an indie budget title. And seeing the physical landscape change as the summer passes by is really something to behold. And the soundtrack was written by Chris Remo, who also worked on the soundtrack for Gone Home. It's minimalist, rustic, and mysterious, and I absolutely love it. The problem with it, though, is that it was very underutilized, and it would pop up in places that contextually just didn't make sense. Now, this piece is obviously a little bit more weighty, but in the context of when I was playing, nothing was really going on. I was just going from point A to point B, grabbing a couple items here and there, but contextually, nothing was happening in the story at the time. And I feel like that's a really big missed opportunity. You have a wonderful soundtrack written by a great games composer that is not used to its fullest potential. It's one thing to have the material and have it available for you to make the game, but then to underutilize it or not use it impactfully or effectively just kind of ruins it. Sometimes the scenes hit the nail on the head when you have audio and visual working together. Or you have this impactful scene the first time you see burnt trees in the national forest and elect to do nothing with it. Now, I understand the use of silence sometimes is a little bit more impactful in moments, but in this case, when you have a soundtrack that can perfectly fit what's going on visually, why not use it? I also did experience a few annoying bugs. The sound would almost consistently cut out as I was choosing a conversation option.
I just covered my head with my pillow. Seems to do the trick.
And whenever I had to read a note, most of the time the characters would droll on about something, causing me to lose focus and not actually read the note.
Next few days, dropping into the thoroughfare on behalf of Dr. Sirmans at Wapiti Station.
So here's where I have the biggest problem with this game, and it's what I alluded to earlier, what I like to call the illusion of choice. Now, we all know that choices in games have been around for a pretty long time, but lately I feel like they've been losing their meaning. Most games don't use them effectively, or they present an illusion that you have some choice or decision in the outcome. And I think Firewatch is a prime example of that. All the choices in the game are conversational, and at no point do any of your choices in the conversation have any sort of bearing on the story. There's no meaningful impact, as the only thing that changes is the response that you get back. And it doesn't change any outcome from aside how Delilah feels about you, which carries no weight since the outcome is always the same, and there's no incentive to play differently as the result is always constant. And to me, that's not good design. There are plenty of games out there that implement choice perfectly, like Life is Strange or The Witcher 3, where all of your choices matter and they actually evolve the story around you. And I feel like the implementation of choice based on conversation doesn't really do much for the player, as it provides nothing aside from more playful banter. And while I did appreciate the choose your own adventure that was in the beginning, to ultimately find out that it became nothing in the end was very disappointing, and I kind of wished for more. I'm sure you're probably thinking I hate this game. That's actually not the case. In the 5 hours that I spent with it, I actually did for the most part enjoy it for what it was. But in a subgenre like the interactive story game that is flooded with other content, this is not one that's standing out. So a full recommendation from me is pretty tough. I'd say maybe if it goes on sale, it might be worth checking out. But even then, there are too many good opportunities missed for this game to be really great.
It's Henry.
What, you don't like Hank?
Yeah, I don't like Hank.
But thanks rhymes with Hank.
No, it doesn't.
So thanks again for watching. That was a fun little review of Firewatch for PC and PS4. If you liked it, hit like. If you disliked it, hit dislike. Not going to bother me that much. Subscribe to the Meta Villains. We do other stuff like Let's Plays and podcasts. So check that other stuff out, and I will see you guys on the next review. Later.
You're gross. You're just some sad man out in the woods.
Hey, that go okay?
It went fine.